And the thought leaders, they are very extreme in the way they advertise their views on what is healthy. But in order to get their message across, they are, in my opinion, often too extreme. And then people follow that extreme advice, and then it works. If you follow a vegan diet or a carnivore diet or whatever, fasting, cold thermogenesis, everything, you can apply it, and then the first weeks, month, you feel terrific, and then you think, okay, this guy, he is my hero, he is my god. I do everything that he says or she says.
Hello. This is the video version of the podcast with Eduard de Wilde. In this episode, we dive deep into the health story of Eduard that began with a big crisis, and then he started from sick to normal health, and then he improved into something like optimal health. It's a really, really interesting journey we can all learn from, and my intention is to cover that it's never too late to start. If you don't know Eduard is a thought leader in the field of biohacking. In the biohacking industry, everyone knows Eduard and his story and his brands. He's the founder of NoordCode. NoordCode is an amazing company out of the Netherlands that produce collagen, some ketogenic oils, and other great stuff. And he's the founder of Live Healthy. And Live Healthy was the first company or online shop that make it possible to get devices in the field of healthcare, health optimization from the US to Europe. And that's Live Healthy. So we cover a lot of topics in this episode, some on the meta plane and a lot of practical tools. And there are a lot of names we stumbled across and a lot of tools and other stuff. And all of that, I will link to it in the show notes. So without any more words, let's jump in. Enjoy. Okay. So, hello. My guest today is Eduard de Wilde, and I'm pretty happy to have this conversation with Eduard because we talked a little bit before the recording, and my intention is to uncover his health story because Eduard is a little bit older than me. And I think he started his health journey where I'm right now. I'm 30 right now, and we will uncover his health journey and what he did. So Eduard did a lot. He's in the world of biohacking, everyone knows Eduard for sure. And please, Eduard, introduce yourself a little bit, what you are doing for the listeners that don't know you, and then we will unpack what you did, what you're doing, and that's the point why it is never too late to start the health journey.
Okay, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's an honor, and actually, I'm almost double your age, so you could be my son.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we start with the beginning, then it started in 1999 to be precise, and in 1999 I went to Cameroon with friends, and I had to take Lariam, and Lariam is a prophylaxis to prevent you from getting malaria. But what I didn't know at that time is that there are many side effects happening with people taking Lariam, and I got one of the most severe side effects, and that was a very heavy panic and anxiety disorder, and that happened quite soon after I came back from Cameroon, and then my journey started, because I get those tension headaches. Those were so tiring that I couldn't function properly. I in 2000 I became a partner in the consultancy company I was working for. So at the very same time that I became a partner, I was not able to function, and I only could work, for 1-2 hours per day, and The first time people thought that I had a burnout. So the medical departments, they said, okay, you have a burnout, so you have to take rest. And I did what they told me, and I took 3 months off. But that didn't help anything, because I felt not tired. So I was full of energy. So I was sitting on the couch at home and was thinking, okay, what the hell is happening? I'm doing all the protocols to recover from a burnout, but I don't have a burnout. So at a certain moment, one doctor said, okay, what did you take when you went to Cameroon? And then everything became clear, and that it was the Lariam that caused the issue, and that I needed a different protocol to recover from that. And then I started with all kinds of treatments, psychologist, psychiatrist, all alternative treatments that you can imagine. I counted them, and I came to 40 different treatments that I tried to recover from that anxiety disorder or panic disorder. And that took me 6 years to come to the conclusion that it didn't work. And then the psychiatrist, he told me that my brain was damaged, that the neurotransmitters were damaged, and that I just had to learn to live with it. And if you are at that age, then that is not the thing that you want to accept, because then the rest of your life you would have to live with this kind of disorder. And he gave me all the medicines, antidepressants, and in the end that didn't work as well. So I took 8 years. I had the antidepressants, but then when I dived into the research myself, it showed me that it would be effective for the first 6 weeks, and after that it didn't make sense to take them. So I've been on those antidepressants for 7 years without any reason. So when he told me his verdict that I just had to learn to live with it, I thought, okay, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I start to explore other things. And someone mentioned to me Mark Sisson's website, the Mark's Daily Apple. And at that time, I just followed the Western, the regular Western diet. I eat everything, that I thought was healthy. But I was not focused on health, because that was not how I was raised. You just trusted all the medical doctors. When you had something, then you went to the doctor and they prescribed you something, and then you became healthy again. So that was my way of thinking. And when I looked at Mark's website, I thought, hey, this is interesting. And I bought his book, The Primal Blueprint. And in fact, that started my journey, my health journey, because I found that book so inspiring about how he approached food, how to exercise, how to take rest, how to do everything. In fact, he was one of the first biohackers that I saw. Okay, this exists, but he doesn't advertise himself as a biohacker. But in fact, it is. If you look at the Primal Blueprint, it's a biohacking Bible in the basic form. So I first started to improve my diet. I think that was one of the most important things that helped me. And I cut down the calories. I didn't eat any, bread anymore, and spaghetti, and so I became low carb. So not ketogenic, but low carb. eat more whole foods, vegetables, meat, fish, all those kind of more of an omnivore diet. And it really made a huge difference in the way I felt, the energy that I had. And after a while, I discovered that also my anxiety was improving. So I thought, okay, and then you have the whole concept of, the different parts of the brain. You have the human brain, the Labrador brain, and the reptile brain. There are also different ways to explain it, but the reptile brain is the one that gets first the energy because you need it to survive, just to stay alive. And then the Labrador brain, that's more the primal functions to search for food and to move, to all those primal things. And then the human brain, that's where you perform in a cognitive way and how you show up in life. And that's the last part that gets the energy. So what I think is that by improving my lifestyle, by eating healthy food, I got more energy, and then the energy was directed to the to the Labrador brain and the human brain as well. So I had more energy to perform, and one way or the other, it helped me to diminish the effects of that anxiety disorder. And it was a very gradual journey. And I started in that time, and I think it's, about 2008, also experimenting with HRV, so the HRV training by Hartmouth. And that's one of the things that I can recommend to everybody having a busy life and dealing with a lot of stress. The Hartmouth protocol is extremely beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
And
question: when you started your diet changes, how long did it take that you could feel it? Is it about a couple of months or a couple of years?
A couple of months. So if you change your diet, then you can feel the effects right away, and that's very encouraging, because if you change your lifestyle and in a dramatically way, then because if you are a human being, then you like all those unhealthy foods because they taste well, and you feel well because it gives you the immediate reward. If you have the high sugar and the high carbs, it's nice to enjoy that kind of food. And when you start to change your diet to a whole food diet, then you have the idea that you lose something, that you lose eating all that stuff that you liked, and that you that you have to change it into something that is not nice. That is a very weird concept, but when you get that reward quite soon, okay, this is something, this is going to help me, and then it stimulates you, it encourages you to continue that path, and quite fast, the moment that you are not sugar addicted anymore, you get also a different taste, and you start to appreciate the healthy food and the taste of the healthy food, and it's also a mindset that you start to build. So what I did is that I considered all those those processed food, I considered it as poison. So that was the way I framed it in my mind. So when I was in front of the shelves in the supermarket, I thought, okay, this is poison. I should focus on this one. And and after a while, I started to enjoy the whole foods way more than the processed foods, and it changes your taste, everything, and that's
It's pretty important to have this in mind and maybe give this process a little bit of trust, because it takes a couple of months. In the beginning, we can't imagine that this is possible. But in my experience, in your experience, it is it. For me, if I'm in a supermarket and there is this food, what I consider not as food, to be honest, I don't really see it. I can't really see it. So I don't have a look to this junk food. So it's not food for my system. And I honestly, I don't have pleasure by eating it anymore since a lot of years, but it takes time to rewire the brain, I would say, something like that.
Indeed, you have to rewire your brain, and it helps when you feel better, because then you get that reward, and that's why I explored all other things that were mentioned first in the book, The Primal Blueprint, but then I started to follow all the other thought leaders. I listened to the podcast of Robb Wolf. He was very popular. His podcast was very popular in that time. That's I talk about 2010 now. And then I followed Chris Kresser, and then in the end I discovered Dave Asprey, and Dave Asprey started his podcast also around that time. And he talked about bulletproof and bulletproof coffee and brain octane. I thought, wow, this is interesting. Let's try the bulletproof coffee, and it had a fantastic effect on my energy in the morning. And most people, it's a sidestep now, but most people, they consider bulletproof coffee as a way to extend their fast and become a fat burning person. But what I discovered is that it's a more of a tool, a cognitive tool. So when I drink my bulletproof coffee, I feel that I get that energy in my brain, and that I become sharper and better in the cognitive task that I have to perform. And that's when you don't know anything about health, about a human body and how it functions, then those discoveries are very interesting to see. And so I thought, okay, Dave Asprey is talking about biohacking, and that was the first time I thought I learned about biohacking, and I discovered that I already started hacking myself, because using all those different tools. And then the whole idea that he learned me was that that everybody is different. You have different genetics, different epigenetics, the way how you express your genes. You have a different history. So there is not one lifestyle, one tool set that is the same for every person. You have to see yourself what works best for you. And that's, the whole concept of biohacking is doing those experiments and see what works for you. So I did all the blood tests. I pricked my finger, every day to see what my ketone levels were and my glucose levels were, and see what effect were the different things that I did. What effect would it have on my performance? And then a few years later, the Oura Ring appeared, and in the Oura Ring, I like it. I still like it very much. You have almost 30 different KPIs. So you have your readiness and your sleep and your activity level, and then I could see what things I did during the day and what effect it would have on my, for example, on my sleep score. So I learned that when I work out in the evening, it it lowers my readiness. It impacts negatively my sleep. So I thought, okay, that's not the timing for me. I always, when I went to the gym, I always did it in the evening. But then I started to change it and started to doing during the day and especially in the afternoon. For me, when it's, for example, 5 p.m., that's the best timing for me to do my workout. So all those tools gave me the insights that were necessary to optimize my performance, on a daily basis, step by step. And those were very gradual improvements. So it took me, another 10 years to continuously improve those little, things in my life, and to see that I still could improve my performance, that I could improve my health condition. And in the end, I think it's about 2015 or so, I thought, okay, now I'm feeling so well. I think I can say now that I'm healed. I'm not a sick person anymore. I recovered from it. So I think in the end, it took me 7 years to fully recover from that anxiety and panic disorder. And then I just continued with that path because it gave me so much reward to keep testing and experimenting and applying all those different things that were mentioned by all the different thought leaders. That I instead of being a sick person trying to heal himself, I thought, okay, now I'm a biohacker and I'm focusing on a healthy lifestyle with the goal of anti-aging and not anti-aging, because I want to stay to live as long as possible. I don't have a goal that I want to live till 180, what Dave Asprey always is claiming, but I want to stay as fit as possible, and that's what Mark Sisson always said: live long, drop dead, and live long as healthy and energetically as possible. And that's my main goal at the moment.
Yeah, that was beautiful. It was in my mind right now what's important, that you spend a lot of time with the, I would say something like the natural basics, the Mark Sisson philosophy, without any lot of technical stuff and just the lifestyle changes. And you did it for a couple of years, and afterwards you experienced maybe more technical stuff from Dave Asprey and what we maybe would consider as biohacking stuff, technology. But you built the basics with a lifestyle, not 2 weeks, but a couple of years as a basis. And that's, for me, that's important to mention, because I think a lot of people right now start something like, I want to improve, and see all the tech stuff and apply this tech stuff, but don't have the basics. And the basics are that what Mark Sisson and Robb Wolf and all these great guys mention. And that's the basics, the basis. And I love that you did this journey. At one point, is the time for me is interesting, because in my generation, and I think the maybe younger people they don't consider that it takes so much time. It's like a diet 4 weeks, and if I don't feel well after 4 weeks, it doesn't work. Or I apply a technology, a hack for 1 week. Does it work or does it not work? I don't know. But you took like 10, 20 years to do this journey, and that's important to have this trust and to have this generosity. And the third thing is that what I really loved when you talked about biohacking is the concept that we get ideas and experiment with the ideas and become our own expert. And it's not like, I use this tool and this tool works for everyone, so it's for me too. So, but it's more like toolkit of ideas that we can use for experiment and finding our truth. And that's really, really important in my understanding and what I see on other people. Also there are a lot of people that just do everything, and in the end they are really just confused, not really healthy, not energetically, because they just do stuff but don't really have this experimentation mindset and this generosity. And
I think the last point is in my opinion very, very important. What you see is that will follow those thought leaders, and the thought leaders, they are very extreme in the way they advertise their views on what is healthy. But in order to get their message across, they are, in my opinion, often too extreme. And then people follow that extreme advice, and then it works. If you follow a vegan diet or a carnivore diet or whatever, fasting, cold thermogenesis, everything, you can apply it, and then the first weeks, month, you feel terrific, and then you think, okay, this guy, he is my hero, he is my god, I do everything that he says or she says. But what I learned is that none of those extreme approaches work in the long term, and I am focused on the long term, and I also implement my lifestyle in a way that I can maintain it for the next decades. And if you are applying those extreme principles, then there is a high risk that you get burned out in a way by following it too strictly. And I think it's all about balance. And so if it's about hormesis, and if you challenge your body, then your body reacts to it and tries to improve itself in order to deal with it, and then you get better. But if you apply those challenges on your body on a structural basis, then you can get adverse effects. So if you go to an ice bath every day for 15 minutes, that can be detrimental for your health. And if you are ketogenic all the time, it can be detrimental also especially for your gut and all other things. So it's all about balance. And indeed, what you mentioned is that you have to learn to feel what works for you. And for some person, he feels okay to have that ice bath every day, and other people should do it 3 times per week, others 1 time per week, or just take a cold shower. You have to become your own master, and exactly what you see, what you said, the thought leaders, you have to get an open mind for what they say. Be curious about the ideas that they bring across. See what you can do with them, and learn what impact it has on your body, and adapt your own lifestyle based on what you experienced and what you measure, instead of being too strict in following all those strict advices that they give you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes so much sense. But the point is what I'm constantly wondering about, and I think I know the answer, but it's that people do the health tools and tactics, the biohacking stuff, and some people absolutely thrive on that, and they become not just healthy, they become evolved, they become mentally, spiritually evolved. It's perfect. And the other people do like exactly the same. It looks like they do the same, and they just get messed up. For example, I see a couple of women who really do their best. They are so engaged in doing all the health practices, and they implement something like intermittent fasting. They train a lot, and then in the end, after first they feel good, and then they mess up with their hormones, and they really try to do their best, but they apply all these tools and don't really listen to their own body, because obviously it's a really big difference if I'm a mother of 2 young kids, or if I'm Ben Greenfield. Okay, he's a dad too, but it's Ben Greenfield or something like that. So, and that's maybe a difference.
Absolutely, and you also must be aware that it's their business to look healthy, and because it's their business, they have time to spend on it. So Ben Greenfield, because it is his business, he can spend 2 hours, 3 hours per day exercising and doing all that weird stuff. But normal people, they don't have the time to do it, and that's also a very dangerous thing, that you want to look as healthy as those thought leaders, but you don't have the time to do it. And then it becomes very frustrating, because you don't have the time to go to the gym 4 times per week, and that will cost you 2 hours per time that you go there. And how can you apply healthy habits into your lifestyle when you are a father, a mother, you have to do a job, you have to run a business, whatever. Those are your primary roles, and I think the challenge for everybody needs to be how you can apply healthy habits in your daily life, instead of trying to become Ben Greenfield, which is just not possible for 99% of the people, because they don't have that capacity, they don't have the time to invest all that energy in the appearance that he needs to sell his business. And I don't blame him for that, because he's very inspiring, but you just can't be like him, because we have a job to do, and we have to take care of a family, and that's what I'm always focusing on for myself, and also when I try to help other people, is that I try to inspire them to create those healthy habits that you can integrate in your normal life, and you can maintain it for the rest of your life. And that is not just okay. It's we have the summer season coming up, and I want to look good on the beach, so I will get lean, lose a lot of weight, and then you can focus on it for 1-2 months, and you lose 5 kilos. You look healthy, and then normal life starts again, and you gain that kilos back, or even you get more kilos back. And instead of those short-term focused health goals, I think it's way better to make sure that you stay at a healthy weight all the time, just by applying habits in your life that that are within reach for everybody. And just for an example, and I'm also reading the book the Immunity Code by Joel Green, and I can advise to everybody. It's very difficult to read.
I really love that. Yeah, I recommend that too. It's great.
Yeah, because he has his own view based on research on things that are very, very sophisticated, very, very interesting to apply. It's a difficult book, because it's the structure is not that accessible for a normal reader. So it is not a guide that you can follow. You have to really read it carefully and make notes and etc. But one of the things that that I applied is just 20 seconds of a very energetic burst of activity, 20 seconds. So when you have the time, you just do 30 push-ups. It costs you 20 seconds or 30 seconds. You feel tired after it, but you feel energetic as well. And when you do that twice a day, then in the end, after 7 days, you have done hundreds of push-ups that week. And you feel fantastic just by applying those 20, 30 seconds 2 times per day. And I also have my daily ritual. So in the morning, I wake up 1 hour earlier than I used to do. And in that is my hour. And then I apply all the things that I want to do so that I know that it's done, that day. So I start the day with the feeling that I've done the most important things. And I still have the time. I'm not disturbed yet by all incoming emails, messages, things that need to be done, issues that arise during that day. So what I do in the morning is the Wim Hof method, and I found it also very, very helpful, very beneficial for me to do those breathing exercises. And then I do 2 rounds of breathing, and then after the 3rd round of breathing, I do the push-ups. Then I apply stretching, and I think mobility is very important. Also, when you become older, when you are young, then you are flexible, but when you get older, then you get more stiff. So every day I do my flexibility practices. And it only takes me 5-10. Sorry. Normally I don't use these earplugs, but I'm now in a different setting, so I have to use them. It costs you 5-10 minutes to do the stretching exercises, and then I do the heart breathing, or I meditate for 5-10 minutes. I take my ice bath. I have my ice bath at home. So I thought, okay, I have to make it very accessible that I can do my cold thermogenesis. In the winter, the shower is cold enough, but in the summer it's not cold enough for me to get that that cold that I like, and so I built my own ice bath. So I go in there 2 times, 3 times per week, and that's basically how I start my day.
It's really it's great that you mentioned that stretching is important, and all I would say something like body work, like an hour for you, and maybe it's just about 15 minutes. So, and what I really recommend for everyone is just to see something like a self-care routine. A body work should be like like toothbrushing. So for us, it's normal that we brush our teeth 2 times a day, but it's not normal to just spend 10 minutes a day for some body work, like stretching, a little bit of mobility, or this integrated intervals. I think it's integrated intervals that Joel Green tells that or calls that. And that should be really, really normal for us, I think, but it isn't normal.
Yeah, but and that's, when you talk about biohacking, it's interesting that 80% of, you have the technical biohacking, and you have all the experimenting with genetics and those kind of things, but you have also biohacking in the sense of improving your lifestyle, and most of the things that we talk about is about how do you deal with modern life. Yes. How do you deal with the fact that you are sitting all day behind your desk, that you have artificial light, that you and we evolved as a human being, walking around searching for food, with natural light, all those things as a biohacker, we try to replicate the natural circumstances that we evolved in, and if you look at it that way, then it also becomes very easy to apply those principles in your normal life, because it's so simple to take the bike instead of the car. It's to take the stairs instead of the elevator. When I go to the airport and I have to fly, I never take the elevators. I never use the the automatic. I don't know the English word for it, but
Me too. Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
The band that you the mind your step band. I always walk next to it, and then it's the most easy way to get that movement in your daily ritual without thinking, and without spending time, without the necessity to save time, to put the time in your agenda for the gym or whatever. No, just take the stairs instead of the elevator. Just do your push-ups next to your desk. I have a kettlebell at home, and it's waiting for me. So when I go downstairs and I see my kettlebell, I just do 20, 30 swings, and then my heart rate is elevated. I feel all the blood pumping in my body, and then then it's done. And I don't have the goal. I have not the goal to become a bodybuilder. I don't want to become a muscular person. I want to maintain my my muscle mass, and it works in this way. You don't have to go to the gym 3 times per week to maintain your muscle mass.
Yes. Yeah, what you are mentioning underlying right now is that, and that's the point. I think what you mean with Joel Green. The book is not easy to read because you have to read it with you have to see the principles. Joel Green is talking about principles, and you're talking about principles too. And if we understand the principles, what's behind the cool hacks and all that stuff, it becomes really clear and really easy how to do it,
exactly.
why to do it, when to do it. But I feel that it's hard for a lot of people to see the principles, the underlying principles, and don't get lost in all the exercises and tools. Yes.
Exactly, and when you start to see it as a system, you can apply the principles of the system, and when you know the principles of the system, then you also have the freedom to deviate from the system when you feel like it. And for example, when I go out with my friends and they eat unhealthy food, I just join them. I just eat those unhealthy food at that time as well, because I don't, from a social perspective, I don't want to be the exception all the time. I don't want to be the weird biohacker that doesn't want to eat what they eat, or takes his green smoothie with him because he doesn't want to eat their food. I just I just be there, participate in it, enjoy it, because I know the system, because I know when I'm back home again, I apply those principles again and do the healthy stuff. So for me, the 80-20 rule, or the 10-90 rule, or whatever you would call it, is a very important rule to be able to maintain a healthy lifestyle. If you want to be compliant 100% of the time, it becomes a very, very tough life, because then you are always the exception, always the weird person. And if you just go with the flow and be relaxed about it, and don't think that you will die from eating French fries, because many people in the biohacker scene, they think they will die on the spot when they eat seed oil products, for example. And I agree that seed oils are not healthy, but you won't die from it when you eat it once in a while. And then I think, okay, enjoy it. Just enjoy your French fries and the mayonnaise, and go back on track the next day, and then nothing happens. It's I think one of the biggest dangers in the biohacking scene is orthorexia, and orthorexia means that you are so focused on eating healthy food that you panic when you don't have access to it, that you are in a restaurant and they don't have filtered water, that it just comes from the tap, for example, or that they don't bake in olive oil or whatever. And I think, that makes life way harder than when you approach it more from a more relaxed point of view, and in that way, I am able to stay healthy, for many years. So I started in 2006-7, so it's now more than 15 years, and for me it's extremely easy to apply all those principles just by being relaxed about it.
And that's so important that you're mentioning that. I think it's not just about eating. It's all I have to train, I have to do this too. And the problem from a nervous system standpoint is too, if we think we will die, our system really thinks we will die. And that's the problem. If you stay relaxed, so your nervous system is relaxed, you have less tension, and then you have more energy. And from a health perspective, it's really wise to be relaxed. To be this strict is not wise for health too. So that's pretty clear if we understand the nervous system, but that's a controversy, and it's interesting.
And what you also already mentioned, but what I think for people when they want to start with healthy lifestyle, I think diet is most important. Exercise comes next. Movement, the regular movements during the day, the weight training to maintain your muscle mass, flexibility, but also, and then sleep. Maybe sleep is most important of all. I don't want to put it in a hierarchy, but it is sleep, movement, and diet, and then I would add the relaxation techniques, like the breathing exercises, because most of us, they have to deal with quite some stress during the day, because that's the way how our Western society works, and to compensate for that, I think it's very useful to do those meditation, yoga, breathing, all kind of relaxation exercises. And then when those basics are in place, then you can start experimenting with supplements, technology. I am a technology lover, so I have all those gadgets at home, and infrared panels. I have those photo biomodulation device that I put in my nose, to shine the infrared line on my brain. The neurovisor, I like it very much. It's very experimental. I don't know if it's science-based, but I like just experimenting with it, putting it on my head. So for the people who don't know what a neurovisor is, it's a device with LED lights in front of your eyes, and you close your eyes, and then you see all those I don't know how to.
I think they call it fractals, or they call it
fractals,
like fractals, that you see like fractals. For me, it's like a really, really weird psychedelic experience. So it's crazy stuff.
It is, but I like it. It's that's part of, for me, also the fun of biohacking. Just trying all those different gadgets, the happy, to see if you can use the electromagnetic field to influence how you feel. I I have, so I'm looking for the name of the device. So I use the Sensate. I like the Sensate a lot. It's also it's the vibration tool that you put on your chest, and with the music, it's a very, very nice tool to become relaxed quite fast. And I'm looking for the name that I use also quite often, is that it is with neurosonic sounds, and it helps you to deal with stress, and it can regenerate yourself when you are not feeling well. So when you didn't sleep well or whatever, you can use it, and you, after 20 minutes, you feel way more better than you did before. I have to check if I can find it quite fast.
I don't know the name too in the moment, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's with the sticker. So the sticker on the poles. I have it here somewhere. I have it in my bedroom because I use it before sleep or in the afternoon. But maybe it pops up in my mind.
Yeah. I know too what you mean. Okay, yeah. Right now, that's the moment where my mind is thinking and thinking and thinking, but it doesn't appear. But
yeah.
maybe in a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use these tools on a weekly, daily basis, or what would you say are your top 3 tools? And first, I really love that you say it's the fun part. For me, that's too. Sometimes people say, why you don't have to use it? No, but I like it. It makes a lot of fun. I just enjoy it. So I like this aspect too. That's, for me, that's a legitimate reason to use it, just to have fun with it and play with it. Yeah. But what are your top 3?
So the infrared panel, I use it on a daily basis. So that's part of my morning ritual as well. The HeartMath inner balance trainer, what I already mentioned, is also a tool that I use on a daily basis. And the tool that I can't find the name of it that is also that I use very frequently, and
yeah.
But also, the biomodulation tool within my nose, I do it also on a daily basis, and the neurovisor also on a daily basis.
Nice.
Everything in the morning.
Yeah. So I think we covered a lot of the basics, now a little bit of the technology. And what did you find as your top supplements in the last 10 years? What are you using right now? Maybe the best 5 or something like that.
That's a very hard question. And that's because I sell that stuff, and so I have access to it, and I try many, many, many things at the same time. But for me, very simple, the collagen is a basic. I don't know if you can call it food, functional food, or supplement, but collagen is one of my staples.
Sorry. I think it's a new calm, right?
The new calm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The new calm. Yeah. Okay. Right now.
The new calm. Yeah, and it's an expensive tool, but I can recommend it. It's very, it's science-based, very effective. But it's quite expensive to because you have to subscribe, and it costs quite a lot of money. But I think it's worth the money.
Yeah. I tried it a couple of times by Andreas Breitfeld in the in his oxygen chamber with the new calm for half an hour in Munich. It was amazing. Yeah, I really loved that. Yeah, really deep rest. So sorry, but we took our list of your top supplements.
Yeah, so the collagen is on top of the list. I add glycine to it, and that's also based on the research of Sim Land. He just launched his book, The Collagen Cure, and it's very interesting for people who want to know more about collagen and if it's valid or not to take it. If you are in doubt, then just read the book and then maybe you are convinced. So the glycine, I in the morning I also take NMN and AD levels. I most of the days I take a nootropic. Sometimes I take the neurohacker Qualia Mind. Other days I take the one that we developed ourselves for our NoordCode brand. We have the Circadian Boost, and those are 4 different capsules for 4 different moments on the day. And the strong morning capsule, I like it very much to take it as a nootropic in the morning. I have and that's why it's so difficult to give you the top 5 because I take 15-20 different supplements, so I consume 40-50 capsules a day at least, so that's hard to choose.
It doesn't matter if it's the top 5, but now we have 4.
Yeah, so I like the curcumin, astaxanthin. I want to avoid the most expensive ones, but you have the brand Do Not Age, and they have tremendous anti-aging products. So I take all of them: the CE, AKG, the TMG, Apigenin. Once per month, I take the Senolytics stack from Neurohacker Collective. I think it's a very, very clever formula that you just have to do it once per month in order to that's focused on getting rid of senescent cells. And if you grow older, then those senescent cells build up and become zombie cells, and then you see a rapid decline in performance. So you want to maintain your body, because when you age, there's a lot of damage building up, and the Senolytics formula is focused on that specific part of aging, getting rid of the senescent cells. So that's the one that I use. Magnesium, of course, that's also one of the basics. A multivitamin, and we also created our own formula. So I take my own NoordCode master formula, an omega-3 supplement. I eat fatty fish on a regular basis, so I don't take it on a daily basis. But when I don't eat fatty fish, then I take an omega-3 supplement. I think those are the most important things. I consume medical mushrooms, so the chaga, lots of antioxidants in it. The lion's mane for neuro regeneration. The reishi before bed because it helps you with your sleep. When I have a heavy dinner, I take digestive enzymes. Another one always before bedtime is the spermidine, and spermidine is an ingredient that helps you with autophagy, so that you also a cleaning system in your body. Yeah, I think maybe those are the most important things.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think right now it's about, hey, maybe it's about 15. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
important, cover the basics first and then yeah, go deeper in it, enjoy it. Yeah, that's nice. So I
Yeah.
will link
So
to all of that. Yeah.
so yeah. So for me, the collagen, the magnesium, vitamin D in the winter, omega-3, a very good multi vitamin. Those are the basics. So if people don't want to spend all that money on supplements, and I can imagine that they don't want it or they don't have the money, then if you focus on those, then you already are covered for a big part. And then the other things that I mentioned, that's for the people interested in anti-aging and maintaining all your body. When you are 30 years old, then I think it's not necessary to spend that money on those anti-aging supplements. But when you are at my age, I think it's interesting to use those in order to benefit from that support, to avoid the damage in your body or to clean up the damage that is building up.
Yes. Yeah. In my, right now for me, I think my NAD levels are high enough, so high, so I don't supplement with
You don't
NMN or
need
something
it.
like that.
No.
And I like the idea of this analytics. And I think I read it in the books from Joel Green, the intermittent protocol. But in my life, I just use something like fasting, a longer fast or 2-day fast once a month. And I think that could be a great step without supplements in the younger age, maybe. So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, when you are young, everything is working perfectly, and then you can focus on getting the basics in place, and then when you reach the age of 40, 50, then I think it makes sense to upgrade your supplement stack, and interesting to see that there are many innovations coming on the market, because science is developing in a rapid pace, also because of the technology that enables it. You see those the exponential digital developments enable the research to see what kind of components are beneficial for humans, and yeah.
Yeah, I think for me an important step is to be more self-aware. So ordering is really important, but you mentioned that you do the health math training, the HRV training and all that stuff. And I think that is really useful to gain more insight in your body too, to that you can better feel if you're stressed, if you're not stressed. And that's like your daily checkup too. I think that's a beautiful idea too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and one point in the beginning you said it's important that everyone is an individual and not one tool fits all. But what we right now I think are in a transition that we understand that it's not you and me, it's you now and you tomorrow and you in a year. So life and health is a process, a daily evolving process, and that's so important. All the microbiome and all the stuff is so dynamic, and I think the blood work is important, but once every 2 years, I don't know if it's really useful. So it's way more dynamic for every person and every day. So I think that too, that will be a great thing in technology and biohacking. But yeah, for me, in my understanding, it's really important that we learn to listen to our body, because to be honest, I don't want to rely on technology. I want to rely on my own body. So, and technology is for me a tool to gain insight, but I don't want to be maybe a slave, something like a slave of technology. So that's important in my philosophy. Yeah.
No, but I think it's a very good point that you make, and that's how I apply those technologies. So there are some technologies that you can use to influence how you feel. And so, for example, the Neurovisor or the Happy or the Sensate, those are external devices that you can use in order to improve how you are at that specific moment. But the other devices are more to get that insight. And once you see the connections, you can feel it. You can learn to feel it as well. So, for example, when you train the heart rate variability, you can see your performance. You can see how your heart rate variability is at that specific moment. But when you do the training, when you have done it for a few months, then you don't need that tool anymore, because you feel, okay, now I'm not in sync anymore. My heart rate variability, I feel that it is low, and I just recognize it, and then I start to breathe correctly. And I know that when I breathe correctly, I will get it up again. And that's also for the Oura Ring. Many people think, okay, you wake up in the morning and you decide based on the results how you feel today. But that's not the way it works for me. I wake up in the morning, I check in with my body. How do I feel? And then I see whether it's in line with what tells me. And then if there is a difference, I think, okay, can I explain the difference between how I feel and what the numbers tell me? And that's the way I approach it as well.
Yeah, thank you. That's so important. That's perfect. By the way, the Oura Ring, so I think I use it since maybe 4 years, something like that. And the data for me was really confusing a lot of years. And right now there's a new algorithm. And right now with new algorithm, my sleep data is nearly perfect. And that's so interesting, because all the years I thought, oh, my REM sleep was pretty bad. My deep sleep was way too high. And I tried to fix it, but there was no way. But in the end, I was convinced that my sleep is good. I'm fine, but the data isn't good. And I talked with a couple of experts like Lutz Kraumann about that. And he says, yeah, your heart rate is so slow, your HRV is so high, and then we often see this abnormalities. But not right now, the new algorithm, the ring says what I already felt, that my sleep is optimal. Right now, my ranges are perfect. That was interesting for me. Yeah. So don't rely too much on technology. That was an insight.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much for all the sharing of your story. I think it's really inspiring. A lot of stuff on the meta plane and a lot of actionable steps. I think both is really important. And thank you for your work with all you did in the industry too, because you created a company, NoordCode, with great supplements. You created the platform, the biggest reseller for a lot of great biohacking supplements, lifestyle products called Live Healthy. And so thank you for that. And I will link to all of that in the show notes. And I think we have a code for Live Healthy and NoordCode too for the listeners who want to have a look. I will link to all of that in the show notes. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Cool. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have the last word? Do you have anything to mention in the end?
I think we covered it all. It's I think what I already mentioned a few times. I think don't get too too over worried about applying all those topics that we talk about. Just make it easy, make it accessible, apply all those principles in a way that you can maintain it for the rest of your life. Focus on what you can do on a daily basis, and don't have don't apply too much goals that are very hard to reach, but break it down and try to do those very little things on a daily basis. Then you will discover that you feel amazing after a few months, a few years, whatever.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for your time.